Book of Boba Fett actor Tamora Morrison casts doubt on his character appearing in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Well, good. I mean, it's about The Mandalorian and Grogu. Why would we see Boba Fett, right? Well, Mandalorian popped up in the Book of Boba Fett. So, anyways, so let's get into it. This is coming from That Park Place. Actor Tamora Morrison, who plays Boba Fett, casts doubt on his character appearing in Jon Favreau's upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu film. This was reported from Screen Rant during an appearance at Fan Expo Chicago. Morrison stated, "I'm still waiting for a phone call, to be quite honest. I think we're just put on the shelf for a little bit. Maybe we can come off the shelf later." Forbes also noted that Morrison added, "The Book of Boba Fett's reception does seem to have impacted the future of the character in the franchise." Look, we all know how badly the Book of Boba Fett was received. Now, it had potential, but what they did to that character, what they did to Boba Fett, who was a ruthless bounty hunter in Star Wars, and then just made him this fat old man. I'm sorry, Tamora Morrison. I love you. You're a great actor. I love what you were doing and could have done. And I know you feel the same way. I know you wanted to do more with the character that was more ruthless. But that's what they did to the character. And it's such a shame. And we sit back and we take a look at what Lucasfilm continuously does with these legacy characters, the characters that George Lucas created, and just constantly craps on them and constantly puts them down and constantly gives us something that we don't care about, we don't want to see. And then they wonder why the ratings are horrendous. But that's why the Book of Boba Fett and Boba Fett himself is just put on a shelf, probably never to be seen again. I'm sure Boba Fett will pop up later. I believe we're going to see Boba Fett pop up in the Dave Filoni movie that we're going to be getting, because that's going to be a much larger scale type of film than The Mandalorian and Grogu. I think we're going to see him then. I don't think we'll see him in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Maybe in season 4 of The Mandalorian, but I think for sure we'll see him in that later movie, that big grandiose Dave Filoni film that's going to be like the culmination of the whole Mandalorian universe. But to continue, because there's some more information here that's interesting, Morrison has previously expressed his dismay with how the character was handled and the fact that Lucasfilm seemingly abandoned the character for The Mandalorian Season 3. In April of last year, during an appearance at Supernova Expo 2023 in Melbourne, Morrison shared that he was indeed supposed to appear in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, but he never got a call from Lucasfilm. He explained, "I was supposed to be in Season 3, but nobody rang me. I was waiting for the phone call in New Zealand, waiting and wanting to give up." That's just pathetic. That's just ridiculous. At least call him up and say, "Hey man, sorry, it's not happening." If he was under the impression, if he was told that it was going to happen and he was just waiting for the call, then yeah, you tell him, you call him, you say, "Look, it's not happening." Now, if he was just under the impression and nobody told him it was going to happen, then it's on him. Who knows what the semantics are there? I mean, we don't know, but still, this is pathetic. I don't know exactly where he would have fit in Season 3. I'm not sure. I'm sure they could have fit him in somewhere. He also shared his thoughts about Din Djarin taking over the Book of Boba Fett show. "Well, that Mando guy stole a few chapters." Oh, why am I talking like that? "Mando guy stole a few chapters of my book. It was painful watching him turn up with some black, new, lethal sword. And the way he turned up in my Book of Boba, he just destroyed everybody." He then asserted, "I'm sure this guy is ruining my show, but I couldn't say anything. I'm not the writer, so I have to bear it, I guess." Now, was he joking around? Was he playful there? It's hard to tell in this writing, because Tamora Morrison, he can be playful. He can be, he doesn't always. He comes off as kind natured sometimes, so I can't tell what he's coming off as here. But honestly, you can tell that he is aggravated with what's going on with his character. So it's definitely interesting to see what is happening here. But It continues. In fact, at the time, Morrison did not sound optimistic about returning to the character at all. He said, I think there are a few changes going on. We also came under the big umbrella known as Disney now, too. So it's one of the last few conversations we had in LA. The conversation started like, oh, look, we're having a few changes. We're having a few cutbacks. And when you hear that at the other end of the line, it's no good trying to negotiate any more money. That's for sure. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Look, we're probably not going to see Boba Fett anytime soon. Definitely not a season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. Again, I think we'll see him, like I said, probably in that big Mando film that Dave Filoni is doing. But again, it comes down to just the lack of understanding these characters, the lack of understanding what the audience wants to see with these characters, specifically the legacy characters of Star Wars. If Lucasfilm wants to destroy these new characters and make new characters and destroy them, go at it, have at it, have fun destroying your Rays, your Finns, your even Ahsoka, which is a legacy character, but it's a newer legacy character. Have at destroying these characters, but these really legacy characters that fans grew up loving from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, leave them alone. Like, stop ruining them, because when you ruin them, this is what happens. They get shelved and probably never to be seen again. And it's pathetic. It really is pathetic. But let me know what you think about this whole thing. Do you think that Boba Fett is shelved for good? Do you think he'll show up again at some point down the line, like I think, in a bigger movie? Do you think we'll get a Book of Boba Fett season 2? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe for more from me / Free Talk and all of that.